Hello there, coming well from you. The Nintendo Switch 2 first look trailer gave us some answers. At the same time, one thing Nintendo absolutely refused to even tease was the price, and it is very deliberate as you want to fizzle out the information gradually. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell as we go through all leaks and information pointing to the final Nintendo Switch 2 price. Price can make or break it. PlayStation knows this more than anyone after the PlayStation 3
for $599
and last year $699 PS5 Pro. Let's go into why pricing matters, as it all comes down to who you market the system for. Hardcore gamers and early adopters, or casual, mostly mobile gamers or families with children. Nintendo's president Shuntaro Furukawa is aware of this, so his reply to the price question in February was a firm and economic one. Quote, "Not only does Nintendo have to take into account Japan's increased inflation rate, it also has to consider that the exchange rate environment has changed considerably since the Switch launched in 2017. Nintendo also has to consider affordability that our customers expect from Nintendo products. Nintendo needs to take all these factors into account when considering the price of its products." End quote. In other words, a lot to balance, but most of all confirming above 29,999 yen and $299. So let's go over something that most have not considered: the yen and USD exchange situation, as it has changed dramatically since 2017, to the point that the Nintendo Switch 2 might have a different price in Japan than the West. Back then, $1 equaled around 100 yen. Now the same exchange is 1 to 150. The Nintendo Switch is not manufactured in Japan, so higher costs outside will also impact the Japanese market. But the home market is also where Nintendo has the biggest dominance. Hence, I could see a situation where the price in Japan, without the same level of inflation as the West, will be lower than in America, Australia and Europe. Lower Japan price trips aside, the price this time isn't as critical from a hardware perspective as it was with the Nintendo Switch in 2016 going into the January 2017 presentation, due to the unprecedented popularity of the 150 million Switch and record level leaks. Specs are pretty much set in stone at this point. With all disk system competitors above $499, we are by all indications looking at one of four price points: $349, $399, $449 or $499. So higher than the base model Switch, which has stayed the same at least in the US for 8 years at $299. At the same time, $499 is the price that Dutch retailer Coolblue has listed Nintendo Switch 2 with, at a price at €499. Now, euros are worth more than the US dollars, though only slightly. But also remember, European prices include value-added tax. That is to say, the price you see is the one you pay at checkout. This is why the Nintendo Switch in 2017 was €329 in the EU. So who knows, €469 in the US and $499 in Europe. Funny enough, €269 is the current price of the Switch in Europe. And knowing this, I don't believe $499 is something Nintendo will go after. Yes, it will give them a solid profit on each sold system, but will almost guarantee that the sequel will never sell as much as the original. Perhaps not even get close to 100 million sold systems, mainly due to lack of that pricing edge. Suddenly, you're offering a system that is significantly less powerful than the PS5, at the launch price of the disc PS5. The success of the outgoing Nintendo Switch is pretty much the same as it was for the Game Boy back in the 1990s, offering a new gameplay concept while undercutting the competition at price sacrificing some hardware power. The Steam Deck is more powerful than the Switch OLED, but starts at $399 with a worse display and no dock included. Price, along with their games, are Nintendo's two biggest sales arguments to families. All you need to know is that we're getting a new Mario Kart, the successor to the best-selling Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At the same time, this group is aware that $299 is no longer a feasible price. We have, as President Furukawa also pointed out, had significant inflation since 2017. Hence, $349 is the dream scenario when we know from leaks what is inside the system, since $349 is the price Best Buy had on their website with Switch 2 the day after the first look trailer. Naturally, it would just be a placeholder, Nintendo's closest partner for so many years for in-store and unboxing events, wouldn't take away such an important reveal of the Switch 2. By all indications, this is the Switch OLED page that is now being revamped for the Switch 2. In fact, several users on X/Twitter highlighted that this page still has an image of the Switch OLED, and $349.99 USD is the price of the premium OLED model of the Switch. With that said, $349 USD is the same as $499 Canadian dollars, which apparently is the placeholder price at Costco in Canada. And it is curious that this price has now popped up twice as PAL's holder. Typo jokes aside, $349 USD is the price we should hope for when the specs are leaked before Nintendo even had a chance to talk about it. The less we have to pay, the better, as more will be able to buy the system. And as a result, more games will also be sold, something we have seen the importance of when it comes to software sales in the Nintendo Switch generation. At the same time, I still think $349 might be too good to be true, and that the real answer is somewhere in the middle, between it and $499. It may be €369 as an Italian retailer, Games&Movies.it, went out with their pre-orders. If you're wondering, that is around $380 with tax included. At the same time, the most likely price points appear to be $399 or $449 USD. So let's go into the number that has been repeated since January 2024, in some cases even 2023. The reason is that it follows the logic of the Nintendo Switch, staying $100 under the launch PlayStation price. Nintendo Switch $299 versus $399 in the case of the PS4. And now $399 potentially for Switch 2 versus $499 at launch PS5 disc. It would be a slam dunk, one that would be acceptable for families as the price will still be in the 300s. It is by a hair, but at the same time only $50 more than the previously mentioned Nintendo Switch OLED model. It is the most logical and gradual change, but also one that indicates a solid upgrade from the current $199, $299 and $349 family of systems. At the same time, we need to be honest and face that with the specs that have been leaked, $399 might actually be the minimum. In many ways, the best case scenario, as there are signs that it might be a $100 jump. But sadly, from the Switch OLED model, and that without any Mario Kart included. That is right, $449. Perfect for hardcore gamers who will accept anything below $500 for the system, but less for casuals and families. What is more, rumors from the second half of January were pointing to this price point. Let me say straight out, this is the limit for many current Switch owners, but if we are to believe GameRant and Marvel vs. Capcom, the Switch 2 will come in two variants at launch. This was reiterated by Switch 2 stock on X/Twitter with a graphic showing that the successor will be launched in two options. The Nintendo Switch 2 system alone for $449 US, and more interestingly, $500 bundled with Mario Kart. It is definitely a high price, but with new games rumored to cost upward to $70 US before tax, this would be still a very solid deal. A targeted strategy from Nintendo to get the families on board by the end of this year's holidays, despite a significantly higher price than they are used to with the Nintendo Switch. And many have responded to these price claims with denial, including that it would only be acceptable with an OLED screen. Following the logic from the Switch to the OLED model, I agree that $50 higher should include an OLED screen, but $449 is something we need to be prepared for in the worst case. Ideally, $349, most realistically $399, but willing to accept $449. Who knows, the final price might even differ between regions. But then again, Nintendo will not say anything or give their recommended price until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Until then, my position remains as hard as it has been since we started talking about the Switch 2, $399 US/euros. Nintendo needs that edge among consumers against the Steam Deck, PS5, Xbox, Lenovo Legion Go, and the Asus ROG Ally. It is the perfect price for most consumers, while also being acceptable for Nintendo. Anything drastically above this will be too high and require some serious spec revolutions. But what do you think should be the pricing for the Nintendo Switch 2, considering all the leaks and information from President Furukawa? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching until the end, and to all our patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons. Special shoutouts to Raw producer JC Funk and heroes Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.